morning YouTube. High Mileage Rider here. Well, you've come to this video because yes, it is new bike reveal day. After an exhaustive search on my part and a lot of patience on your part, you're finally going to get to see what bike I chose to buy for my retirement bike. Now, before I unveil the bike, let's go through some of the specs we had again. My old bike had a 20-liter tank. I wanted something bigger. My old bike was chain drive. I wanted ideally shaft or belt drive. My old bike did come with heated grips, so I would have liked to have had heated grips on the new bike. The old bike had a fully adjustable suspension, so I wanted fully adjustable, ideally an electronic suspension. I wanted to be able to carry Lisa with me if she wanted to ride with me in a little bit more comfort. I wanted full wind protection, and I wanted reliability, and most importantly, it had to fit my price point. I know I've looked at Kawasaki's, Honda's, Suzuki's, Yamahas, Harleys, Indians, Moto Guzzi, and I believe that's probably about all of them. So I came across this deal. A dealership actually called me and said they had this bike, they thought it would fit all my needs, they thought I would love it, and it was selling for $2,000 off. And then when I got there and started bargaining, I got another $800 off, plus I got cash as a gift card to use for my first service. So I think I got a really good deal. They took my old bike on trade, gave me what I thought was a fair deal. I could have got a little more if I'd sold it on Kijiji, but I decided, wasn't worth the effort. We'll give it to them, let them make $1,500 profit, keep them in business so they're still there to service my bike afterwards. So let's see what I bought. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! Wait a minute. This isn't my new bike. This looks like my 2014 V-Strom 1000 without a trunk and with a different saddle and a different windshield. That's weird. Well, I'm trying not to play with you too much, but this is the morning when I drive my bike to the dealership to pick up my new bike. So I took off the trunk because I'm going to sell it privately. I took off the Russell Daylong saddle because I'm going to sell it privately. I took off the GV airflow screen and my highway pegs because I'm going to sell them privately to recoup a little bit of money. So let's do this right. Let's show you the real bike. Hang on just 1 second. Hey there YouTube, I'm back. Just traded the V-Strom 1000 and got my new bike. It was all gloomy this morning, rain, but it's perked up and pretty nice out this afternoon, so I thought I'd bring you to a better location to show you the bike. We're at Howerlick Park instead of my dingy old garage. As you can see, nice and sunny out. It's gorgeous today. All right, let's get to it. No tarps over the bike or anything. I'm just gonna spin around and show you the bike. So in case you haven't guessed, my new bike is a 2019 Yamaha Super Tenere 1200 ES. I looked at all the other bikes that I had thought of that I've told you about, drove them all, almost all of them, sorry, the day that I traded this in, just to make sure that this was the bike that I wanted to get. And this one drove the best, handled the best, had the most power, came with the most stuff, and had the best factory warranty. So it is now in my garage, and we say goodbye to the V-Strom 1000. Not that there was anything wrong with the V-Strom, but as I get close to retirement, I wanted some of the cushy comforts of shaft drive, electronic cruise control, and all the other goodies that this bike comes with. So let's spend a minute walking around the bike and I'll tell you exactly what this bike does in fact come with. Please excuse the noise. I am in a park, so cars will be going by every once in a while and geese will be honking. So as I said, this is a 2019 Super Tenere ES. The ES stands for electronic suspension. It's 1199 cc's. It's a parallel twin. On paper, depending on who you look at, they'll say it makes anywhere from 112 to 118 horsepower, about 88 foot-pounds of torque at 6,000 RPM, 4 valves per cylinder, fuel injected. It has a double overhead cam. It uses a dry sump rather than a wet sump, so it kind of adds to the motor sound. It is liquid cooled. The fans for the radiators are on either side of the bike rather than right in the front. Most people are reporting that they're getting around 43 miles per gallon, or about 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers for those of us in Canada. It has a steel tube frame, a 43 millimeter inverted front fork, and it has a monoshock rear suspension, and as part of the electronic suspension, which I'll show you later, it is all adjusted from a thumb wheel or a button on the front. The front travel on the front suspension can be up to 7.5 inches. On the rear suspension, it is also 7.5 inches. The front tire is actually the same size as my V-Strom. It's a 110 80R19, and as you can see, it has spoked wheels. The rear tire is a 150 70R17. It has 2 large 310 millimeter front disc, and it has 1 282 millimeter rear disc. It does come with a hydraulic clutch. The wet weight of this bike, depending on which site you read, is around 580 pounds, so it's about 80 pounds heavier than my V-Strom 1000. Has a 2-part saddle rather than the one piece that I had on the V-Strom. The seat height is 33.3 inches in the lowest setting. It takes 23 liters of fuel, or 6.1 gallons. And I found out yesterday when I filled up that it said I had 530 kilometers till empty. I don't know if that's actually true. I think that's a little exaggerated, but we'll see when we get riding. It holds 4.2 liters of oil, and it came with a 1-year warranty, which I got bargained up to a 5-year warranty. One of the unique things about this bike is that it has a 270-degree crank and a uneven firing interval, which makes it feel like a big single cylinder, so it's got tons of low down torque. And that adds to the sound that I was talking about. Let's show you what it sounds like. So now that you've heard the bike, let's turn her on and I'll go through the menus and what the bike looks like. So we get the Super Tenere symbol on the right and the startup on the left. You can see in this configuration I have it, we have the time in the upper left. We have our RPMs, our speed. The traction control is on level 1. Fuel, mode, touring or sport. And then on the right hand side is our information menu, which we will scroll through. So for controls, on the right hand bar we have our start, stop and run button. The mode button, which you slide to the side, and when you do that it goes from sport into touring. Underneath that is our hazard switch. On the left side we have the menu button, which will scroll through the right hand side of the menu bar. A toggle switch to go up and down. We have our headlight switch, push to pass, up for high. Our cruise control, which is a push button to start, and then set and reset, turn signals, and the horn. Right now I'm doing such an amazing job of explaining this bike. I'm gathering an audience, hanging on my every word. All right, let's get back to the bike. So, on our main menu, I will cycle through the menu so you can see what it does. On my first page, I have a gear indicator, which is neutral. I have a trip 1 I should say, trip 2, and total odometer. So I have, since picking this bike up, 261 kilometers and 243 kilometers on this tank. The other kilometers were when I did the test ride. When we push our scrolling button, it will allow us to scroll through the menu. It now shows air temperature, the coolant temperature, and the time since this trip started, or since I turned the bike on this time. Shows a range, distance till empty, average fuel economy, and my current fuel economy. Now when I push the menu button, I will scroll from this information page to the other pages. The next page is your electronic suspension. Now if I hold this down from this page, it will go into the main maintenance page, which I can set my grip warmer, low, medium, high temperature. I can set a maintenance schedule. I can plug in the numbers for when I want it to remind me that I have maintenance due. Trip time for when you turn your bike on and till you turn it off and fill it with fuel. Your units, which are kilometers per hour for me. Your display, you can set up and actually customize the display where you want things to be, such as trip meters, to air temperatures, distance till empty. I've left it all in the standard positions till I get used to the bike. A brightness, I set it for the brightest position, and then setting your clock. So you can set this for their soft, hard, standard, hard, or soft. And then you can adjust it from there. We have grip heaters. We use that same up and down toggle where we can have it set on 1, 2, or 3. And back to your main display. So it's a pretty simple system to use. Seems pretty intuitive. The windshield is adjustable. Unfortunately, it's not adjustable on the fly. You have to undo this nut here, loosen this nut here, and then you lift the whole thing, and as you can see, it slides on this little ratchet system. So right now I have it in the highest position, and it seems to be working okay. It takes most of the wind, or I should say it takes all the wind off my chest and just leaves me with wind going into my helmet, but it is smooth wind. It is not buffeting. So besides the windscreen, there's a couple of other unique features about this bike. As I was saying as we did the walk around, that is where your radiator would normally be. And I guess what they did in order to prevent off-road damage is they split the radiator in two. One is on this side, one is on the other side. So I'll be getting some engine guards to protect all of this. Because of course if it falls down, even though it comes with a built-in frame slider, you don't want to be damaging your radiator or the other mechanisms that are under there. As you can see, the oil filter is very easy to get to. They give you this little plastic cover for rocks and stuff. I mean, I won't be taking this bike off-road likely. I will at some point get a little beefier skid plate for protection of rocks and stuff, but for now that one is good. The other thing that is interesting with this bike is with the pegs. You could take this foam insert out if you like and just use the metal bits if you're going off-road to give you a little bit better grip on your shoes. As I mentioned, it's shaft drive, so there's the shaft drive there. Don't know a lot about them, but I'm going to learn about them because I hope to do my own maintenance on this bike. It comes with bags, and it comes with a luggage rack. I've ordered the GV plate that goes on here so that I can put the top box that was on my bike, on the V-Strom, onto this bike. So far I really like everything about the bike. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. As a complete package, I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm doing the break-in period of 1,600 kilometers. So for the first 1,000 kilometers, I'm not allowed to go over 3,700 RPM. I should be varying the speeds, and I should not be using the cruise control. From 1,000 to 1,600 kilometers, you can go up to 4,700, I believe it is, RPM. And again, don't use the cruise control and vary your speeds. There are a couple things, because no bike is perfect, that I'm really not a fan of, but that I can fix. The first one is this screen and mechanism. So while this isn't bad, I really did enjoy the GV Airflow windscreen. So I've ordered one of those to go on my new bike. The other thing that I'm not a big fan of is with this saddle, while it is very comfortable in the highest seat position, and you can adjust it from low to high by simply putting a key in there, twisting it, the front seat will pop off, and then there's little feet underneath you adjust, and you can go from low to high. It does cant you forward, which I don't really like. I like to sit a little more flat, but that's not a big issue because I'll be switching to a Russell Daylong saddle probably next year once I save up a little more money. The other thing that's a bit of a pain with this bike is the bags. Now let me grab my key. And actually you can see on here that they say twist it to the left to unlock the bag from the bike, and move it to the right to actually open it. One of the main criticisms on this bike is that they believe that it has a very flimsy locking mechanism, and I can agree that it really doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. The other thing is, when you turn this, if the bag is full, you need to push down on the lid so that you can open up the bag. The bag itself is a 32-liter bag. It is unfortunately plastic, so it doesn't hold as much as my old bags did, but it'll do for now while I'm saving up. I'll probably replace them with some SW Motec bags, aluminum. They'll sit a little farther away from the bike and maybe allow me to put a tool tube on the other side, and they will also provide more storage and be a little more durable. So other than the windscreen, the canting or angle of the saddle, and the bags, I really love everything else about this bike, and those are easily going to be fixed. I have ordered the windscreen, sorry. I did order a set of bar risers, and I had these same bar risers, the SW Motecs, on my V-Strom 1000, because I do like to sit a little more upright than it even already is, and these will go in here. I also ordered some, they're called winglets from Yamaha. They attach on here, and actually will sit like this, and it will allow for an even bigger cocoon of quiet air with the new windshield that's coming. So we've got the windshield coming, the winglets, bar risers. I'm actually going to take this to a buddy of mine, Corey, who runs Hardcore Auto Body, and I'm going to get the tank, because it's matte finish. I'm going to get it actually completely wrapped in a red carbon fiber to go along with the red accents of the stripes and the T and the 12 in the Super Tenere 1200, and the red stripes on the back. I think it'll look pretty good, and it'll protect the tank. I'll then buy some Gripster tank pad pads to go here, so that I have something to grip onto if I'm ever going off-road.
So all in all, it's a great bike so far. I've had it for a day, not even a day, got 250 kilometers on it already. Can't wait to get to that 1600 kilometer mark. I have my service already booked for a week and a half from now, because that was the earliest they could get me in, and then we can actually ride this bike and see what it can do. We'll see you on the road. Remember, keep the rubber side down and your right hand cranked.